And welcome to the show, my daywalkers, my creatures of the night, my warriors, and everybody else in between. I hope you've woken up, or if you're asleep when you wake up, that you wake up in a good spirits. This is absolutely a festive time of year. However, I'm not naive. I know how low it can be. So, welcome to the Road to Runes on the Infinite Frequency, and I, as always, am your host, L.E.O. Lothbrock. First of all, let me check in with you. I want to, first of all, say thank you so much for everybody tuning in. And we are seeing real spikes in the numbers, which to me is a reflection upon the time of year. It can be a funny time of year. It can do strange things to us. And just don't think that just because I have a couple of 24 hours behind me that I don't still make mistakes, and at times I don't still get I make mistakes. So what are we going to go into today? What I would like to do, if you're lonely actually out there and you're struggling, I would really like you to engage. Now, I'm going to try and try something new here. I would really like you, if you're counting your days, to put your day numbers in the chat. This is not to embarrass you. This is not to ridicule you. This is just something we do in my home AA group, and some of the other groups that I go to. Now, remember, I'm not affiliated with anyone. I don't represent anybody. I am my own person. This is a completely independent show. There's no, I don't have ties to anybody. I'm completely independent. But I do use multiple things. And like I say, in my home group, this is something we do. We just put the number of days that we actually been in that we're sober. And it's just to encourage people so that people know that it's possible. And for me, especially early on, it was very important, and it really helped me see those grow. So I'll give you mine first. Today, I'm actually on 1,200 days, and that blows me away. I have no idea how that number got so big, and it sounds like a huge number, but I'm going to be honest with you. I've been up. What's the time? 5:15. I've been up about 45 minutes now. So that means I've got 45 minutes sobriety today, because whatever I did yesterday doesn't mean anything. And if I want to continue to improve and I like to say, to protect those that progress, I cannot get caught up in when I'm getting numbers and it's rising. I have to remain with my feet firmly on the floor and acknowledge that it's a huge accomplishment, and then acknowledge that actually today doesn't mean anything. Because at any moment, any one of us could make a poor choice, a poor decision, have an instant in their life that can affect us. Now, this time of year is particularly horrible for some people. And so I've decided today we're going to do a show on loneliness. Now, I have done one on loneliness before, but I'm going to try and keep it specific to this time of year, because I know that the festive season for me was always a very difficult time. I didn't like it. I spent many times on my own, and somewhere along the line, Christmas became a time of resentment for me, for many, many reasons. And it's not, I can't stop those things happening. I can't, what I can do for you is tell you what's worked for me, what works, and how I move forward. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to say that I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I threw all my toys out the pram the other day, discovered I'm actually a really poor, sore loser. And that's been a humble pie to swallow. So I've today, throughout the day, I'm going to have to, even I have to make apologies. Even I have to put my action right. Because somewhere along the line, because of this time, I was looking for the differences. I was looking for a reason to not, I don't know, I just don't know. And what's really healthy is that the group of people I have around me have enlightened me to the previous years that that kind of behaviour from me is repetitive of this time of year. I didn't like it, didn't want to accept it, but I've sat on it, I've pondered on it, I've prayed to my to Odin on it, and ultimately, I'm blessed. I'm so lucky to have these good people around me. And like I say, sometimes we have to make apologies. Now, I'm lucky because there was a time in my life I didn't have that. I wasn't a part of, I wasn't connected to something. And I find that if I get disassociated now, it's never a group's call or decision. It's always my decision. And yep, this time of year I just went, I'm out, that's it. And I left multiple groups. Now, some of them I don't disagree with the reason for leaving, but perhaps I question my motives and actions. So we all learn. And the other thing and this is why I wanted to do the loneliness topic today, because I'm going to be brutally honest. I pulled myself out of so many recovery groups, as in supports chats, that I was really struggling yesterday, and I just needed to get some stuff off my chest. And because I had acted in the moment, and I didn't understand why why stuff was hurting me so much, I then found myself in a position where I'd left all these chats. And then I thought, Jesus, I ain't got some of their numbers now. And then my day proceeded to get involved in discussions that didn't all go pleasantly, but it doesn't matter. The point is, we're all human and we all make mistakes. But the last thing I should be doing at this time of year is backing out of anything that's helped me for the last 5 years, and certainly by cutting myself off from the very people that were there for me through my hardest times. It's just, there's the insanity right there. Is that the disease looking at me? Is that my old addictions, my old ways of life trying to isolate me, knowing what this time of year is going to do? Knowing that there's going to be times when I'm going to be low, when I'm going to miss the children that aren't in my life, when I'm going to realise that my family still, unfortunately, is so hurt they can't have me back. And those were my actions. And now, if I stay isolated and don't start rejoining them groups, it's only me that's going to suffer. And then the addiction, as well as I'm doing, I can't fight this on my own. I've tried before. That's what I was trying before I come to recovery. And unfortunately, before I came to recovery, I was on my own. And I'm not saying that for a pity party. It's just the way it happens because of our actions, my actions. So, and this time of year, it brings a kind of loneliness. And it almost comes in with the cold weather, if you like, with the cold front. There's a frost in the air, there's a chill, there's a bitterness. People seem to be happy and joyous, but at the same time, very icy with each other. It can be a very stressful time of year. But what I will say is, like I say, it can be a very, very lonely time when you're out there, especially, the streets go quiet earlier because people are getting together, or they're having stayovers or whatever, Christmas dinners, all sorts, you name it, that it goes on. And then the people you thought you could call, you know, after a while when we're out there, they stop picking up. And let's be honest, it's just not a nice feeling. And that there's something sacred in the silence as well, if you listen close enough. But it could be an awful, awful time. First of all, the first thing you start seeing is everything in from being coming from the streets. The first thing you start seeing is all of the decorations going up. For somebody struggling with their problems this time of year, you tend to notice more when family members or close people you thought you were close to have already been keeping a distance, but you hadn't really noticed it. And then this time of year has a habit of bringing that out. And it is, it should be a magical, wonderful time of year. And for people in recovery or in the height of addictions, it's not. And whether that's self-inflicted or not, I'm here to try and guide you. I'm here to explain to you what I felt and what it was like. And one of the things I noticed this time of year when I was living my old life, it was the illusion of connection. Everybody seeming to be living even more perfect lives on social media than ever before. And the noise seems to get louder at this time of year. And what I found was the world was very loud, but very few words could actually reach me. Very few. There wasn't a connection. I was disassociated, isolated. You start seeing the scrolling, the message notifications, and you see, you start seeing. You start seeing people are posting and messaging, and everyone seems to be happy. But for some reason, I felt invisible despite all of that going on. Now, here's the crazy thing: if I'm seeing it, then I should have been part of it. That's not on anybody else. That was on me. But it can be a horrible feeling, when you're seeing, especially if you've been cut off and because of our actions. And yet this time of year, everybody else is getting together and they're posting these lovely pictures. It's a Christmassy time and it's a family time. And that can really hit home hard. It's like there's a modern paradox about it. It's, you can be surrounded by people, especially this time of year, and then be completely emotionally disconnected. And it's understandable when I look back and try to understand why I was so isolated and disconnected. And that was because I'd missed the rest of the year. And I'd caused carnage and chaos the rest of the year in everybody's life. I used to say, it's my life, I'm not hurting anybody, let me get on with it. And it's not true at all. That thought, that selfishness that I used to have, where I used to think I'm not hurting anybody, I absolutely was. And of course you're hurting yourself along the way as well, but it really can be a terrible, terrible place to be, and to realise. For me, every Christmas it brings at home who I was, what I was like, and instead of, again, look, I'm going to be honest, I was already getting in my head over Christmas. I didn't realise. There are things missing in my life. I haven't got family around me. I don't have my children. and it is going to be a lonely time. And I think I didn't see it coming. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a plan. And that, for me, sounds ridiculous because, you know, being a little, like I say, a couple of 24 hours along in sobriety and in recovery, I didn't plan ahead this time. I didn't start preparing myself for it. And I think that's because naively I just thought, well, look, you know, I've done so well. I'm getting rewarded. I've got a home now. And you know, it's taught me I need to still watch out for that loneliness. Because like I tried to watch, I ended up watching a bit of telly and a Christmas movie came on, and I think that's the moment I realised why I was feeling so uneasy. As well as, you know, having just come out of, just coming home with, you know, being quite ill, and having had the pneumonia, I'm still recovering from that. But that's not an excuse. But that means my immune system was run down. I've cut out sugar and cigarettes. Today's day 7, by the way. Day 7. No sugary sweets. No fizzy drinks. No coffee and no cigarettes. And so, how stupid of me to take all of those things away, which are all going to cause me difficulties, stress, definitely cravings, and if you want to call it triggers. How stupid of me to then remove myself from all of the things that have kept me on the straight and narrow for the last few years. But I think that's just the way my body used to react, and I used to isolate and cut off. And it's evident to me today that because of the last couple of days, that behaviour doesn't just disappear on its own. I have to work. Like, now I know this has come up. I'm going to be working incredibly hard on myself. I'm going to be seeing what it is that really set me off. Why did I not see it coming? Why did I feel that removing myself from all those groups was going to be beneficial? And I guess, if I'm truly honest, as much as I love seeing the Christmas pictures, as much as I love seeing what people are getting up to, every picture I see, every photo that's shared, it can be, if I'm not in the right place, I can take it the wrong way, and I can let my emotions take over and start that whole bitterness, lonely thing, and that pity party. And I don't want to be that guy anymore. And, you know, social media, it just amplifies comparison. Everybody looks happy. Everybody looks like they're having a great time. Everyone looks happy. And it's that amplifies when you're on your own, and it really can make you feel incredibly lonely. And it's a loneliness that hits deep inside. We're not talking just about, you know, being at home and being a bit lonely and waiting till someone comes home. We're talking about that deep-rooted loneliness that has developed over years because of our poor choices, our lifestyle, and yeah, and like I say, it starts amplifying the comparisons. So, you know, this is what I'm saying. So, connection needs to be, what am I saying? Yeah, connection needs to be present. Now, some of you will not have connection as yet. Some of you will be isolated. Some of you will be lonely. What I want to say to all of you is it's imperative that you find something to connect with. Find an online group. Find an in-person group. There are charities all over that can help. If you're in the Birmingham area, in the UK, there's this Divers CIC community. They're very good. They do outreach work. There's also a charity called Cypher. You can go down there if you're homeless and you've got no address, and there's food available. These places are available, can be found, the address is net online. I will get all of the contact details and start putting them in. I've got to go in. I've got a few meetings today with some organisations, and I'm going to be offering to advertise services, especially this time of year. And when I say advertise, it's not advertising as in promotions and money making and nothing like that. I just want to make sure that anybody out there struggling knows where to look and how to find help, especially in this bitterness. And you know, the loneliness coupled with this weather, just I remember being out there or being, you know, even when I was in temporary accommodations and this time was coming, it can be a horrendous place, especially in emergency houses. They're not homes. We're shoved in them like cattle, and you know, a lot of those places are quite undesirable. And I used to mistake activity for connection or intimacy. You know, it's like I used to go to things, and I'd be invited, and then I would be still there and still isolated. I'd be in rooms where there's people all around, and yet I'm still on my own. It's like I'm not being seen. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling. Now, I'm not going to lie, yeah, that can be down to my actions or our actions. And it doesn't make it any easier. And being in a room, especially this time of year with decorations, the festive music, everyone else laughing and joking, and yet I would find myself in the corner of the room feeling absolutely like rubbish on my own, miserable, and not understanding why I couldn't connect. I used to think I needed more people in my life. It turns out it wasn't about the quantity, it's about the quality. Like I've just said to you, I've made a couple of mistakes over the last couple of days, and I've had people reaching out to me and explain to me that my behaviour has been the same the last few years in a row. And when two people that are very close to me both said the same, I thought, okay, I do need to look at this. There was other stuff going on as well, but someone that, you know, they were able to bring things up that I had to look at myself. It's all well and good pointing fingers, but I must remember to maintain my own sobriety. So how does true connection start? How do we build proper connection? Especially this time of year when everybody seems to be pretending and everyone seems happy, and then if I used to be miserable, I didn't want, now it's a point of shit. How do we engage? How do I get back to part of that? Well, sometimes, like I say, it's about finding a different way for now. So rather than trying to claw back each year to my family, or to be banging on doors, because that's, literally what I used to resort to in the end, not understanding why people were shutting me out and trying to have a nice time, and obviously when I was around in those kind of states, it wasn't a nice time for anybody. So do find any kind of group. So if you've got certain afflictions, there are groups for everything out there. And some of them, the only desire is to want to stop. And that's enough. That's enough. That's all you need. And from experience, I know that I always wanted to stop, but I didn't know how. And more importantly, I craved connection. I craved to be seen. I remember what it was like not to feel like I wasn't seen, sitting on my own, or especially when I was out there trying to scrape a few pennies together, and it's not nice. It just hits home this time of year really badly. How families get together, everyone has stayovers, everyone has dinners together, they get invited out. And when you are like me and you've put yourself in a position where people, let's be honest, people can't have you around, or they can if they're willing to roll the dice and see how much carnage you are willing not to cause, because there's always carnage, or there always was when I was around and using and abusing. So I'm just going to take a little break now. I just want to let some of those words settle in. Now, for some of you who don't want to listen to it, I'm just warning you, I'm going to put a little bit of music on again. It is cheerful. It's a good time of year. If you can, I would urge you to listen to it, because music for me had a way of helping me through some of my darkest times, and even I was able to, pop my little booty to some music every now and then, even in my low times. So for me, if you can, listen and just try to think of what you do have. And some of you are going to say, well, I don't have anything. Well, you do. Those people, you've got your breathing, you've got your clothes on your back. I'm not saying... I've got to be careful, but just try and find something that you are grateful for, and just try to feel the actual music for a moment. And like I say, if you don't want to, I understand. So I'm just about to press play, and this one is going to be 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So if you do want to pause it, that's how long it's going to take. So sit back, enjoy, relax, and I will be back in a bit. Oh, I do love that kind of music. This time of year, for me, the music it just feels special. But I understand that when you're out there, or if you're lonely, it doesn't necessarily feel special. And that's why I try to give you a warning of the music that's coming up, because the last thing I want to do is to cause anybody any stress unnecessarily. But like I say, even when I remember when I was in my lowest points, the one thing that used to give me hope, or I found joy in, was the music. And it is a magical time of the year, and miracles do happen. So think about that. It is the time of year where miracles happen. So let's move on to loneliness within recovery. Let's talk about how I ended up first being in that position of being alone. So this time of year, I found in the past, is particularly when people would have to make the choice to start cutting me out of their life, or not inviting me to certain events, or if towards the end, any events before I came into recovery. And why is that? What happened? What was it that caused my crowd, if you like, to dissipate and go off into the ether? At which point is where I, finding myself on my own. I'm not going to be able to pinpoint exactly when it happened, but I will say that once it started to happen, this is the time of year you really see it. When people are, there's invites going out, or you overhear conversations, and people, as you go into the rooms, people stop talking or change the subject. And those little things you start noticing, and at the time, it started to feel very painful. Seeing people I'd always been able to go and have what I thought was fun in my eyes, start pulling back. It was horrible when the family started to pull away, really difficult. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why somebody couldn't put me up at this time of the year. How out of order. They've got all this blah, blah, blah. No wonder they couldn't put me up. I was like the Tasmanian devil. Who the hell wants a Tasmanian devil around them, especially at this time of the year? And it's funny because when I was using, it's not funny, but when I was using and abusing, this time of year became a bitter time. So even when I was invited to things, I'd point out everything they had and everything I didn't have, instead of being present, instead of enjoying the actual time. And it can be difficult. It can really, really make you just feel absolutely horrible. And I think it's a time of year that nobody should be alone. I mean, no one should be alone ever, but this time of year in particular, it really hits home the lack of family and friendships in your life. But this is normal. I don't want you to feel that you're the only one who's going through it. And when I say normal, I mean normal in recovery or before we get into it. When did I realise that I was alone? This started to happen fairly quickly for me. I had already made some poor life choices. I had ruined plenty of parties throughout the years, both at this time of the year and throughout. And like I say, the invites stopped coming. I can't remember the last time I had a Christmas card from a family member. Now, that's not on them. That's on me. Because let's be honest, at this time of year, we send Christmas cards to a lot of people. And if I wasn't on the list, that was such a slight. Especially as I used to sit there and watch my family members write out their Christmas cards every year and sit down, and sometimes we did it together, and Mum would buy us each a box of cards, and there we was writing down addresses and writing to friends, and then we'd go and hand them out, and it was lovely. And somewhere along the line, I lost the connection with that. I lost being part of it. I don't know if I stopped receiving first or if I stopped sending first. And knowing what I know about me now, I would guarantee to say it was me that never sent. And all I was giving out was bad vibes and bad energy, because I was so resentful. I was so full of bitterness. I couldn't understand why everyone else was happy and lovely, and no one could understand how I felt and how hard my life was. And these feelings are normal, but they're not, normal in for people in addictions. But it's not. It doesn't mean that they're correct, but it also doesn't mean that they're not valid. Because you are valid, you are seen, you are heard. This is a platform where I want you to engage. I want you to comment. I want you to feel safe. Because I do know how hard it is out there, both in the using and abusing world and out there on the streets in particular. It can be very cold and lonely. And I felt at some point, I can't remember again exactly which Christmas it started, but to really feel unworthy. I started to believe that maybe I didn't deserve these connections. Maybe I didn't deserve to have a nice time. Maybe I didn't deserve to have a Christmas dinner. Maybe I just wasn't worthy. I was a piece of shit. I destroyed everything and everyone. So why would you want me around? And it's such a double paradox when you just want connection, and you try, and because of the bitterness in me and because of how twisted I was, each time I tried, I didn't reach out in the correct way. I would just chuck accusations, wild accusations at people, things that just simply weren't true, things that were completely unfair. But I didn't know a different way. I didn't know what to do. Again, these are not excuses. This is the reality of the life we've chosen to live. And I don't mean to upset anyone when I say chosen, because some of you are like, oh yeah, I really choose to be on the streets. I really choose to be doing this. To a degree, possibly. What I will say is that I absolutely... sorry, just got a lovely message. It's moments like that. I'm sat here 5 years on in recovery, and today I'm a part of, even when I'm a petulant little brat and throw my toys out the pram, react badly to losing, and even got arrogant with it, and looking at that, it was horrible. Oh, well, I find this easy anyway. What's that about? Take the enjoyment from the people that won. No, come on. Stop being a peanuts. And so this is where we find ourselves. So recovery strips away illusions. Suddenly you see who's still there. Who's really there, who really sees you, and who never was, That some of that is down to my own actions or our own actions, and some of it will be down to the other person. But I can't look at the blame game. I don't do that anymore. I always try to look at myself. And that's what I mean by just lately I slipped up, because I wasn't. I was looking for the differences. And then the loneliness in recovery. It's when we end up isolating, or when I found myself on my own, when I was ostracized through my own doing, when I was cut out from people's lives from my own doing. What I did find, there's a kind of, it's almost a gift, to be honest. It's not a punishment. It becomes a purification. Because had I not been pushed aside, and left to have nobody around, then would I have really understood how much I hurt people? Would that have started to settle in? I'm just going to have a drink of water, sorry. I don't know. What I do know is it's a difficult feeling to get used to, and this time of year in particular, it's not nice. So if you're sitting in that quiet right now, feeling lost, like you haven't, that you've lost everything, let me tell you now, you haven't lost everything. You've just you're just between lives. That's all it is. The old one is going, and the new one will start to evolve in. But you're going to go through some hard times, especially this time of year. It's going to bring up emotions and bitterness, and then, of course, you've got the cravings. Now, at this time of year, I'd experience a different kind of craving. Not necessarily the substances or whatever I was out there doing. I craved company. I craved understanding. I just wanted to be seen. I just wanted to be understood. I just wanted. And over time, I realised that craving was, it was deep rooted. And through recovery, through going to different groups, I now have a tribe. I have connections. I don't have to be alone, which is why I found it insane in the end that I'd left so many groups, because all that does is put me on my own. And all because I got the but I didn't see it, and that's what I'm telling you. You don't get into recovery and life gets easier. You don't suddenly know how to make right choices every single time. And sometimes when people give you words, or they will give you what they think helps you at the time, you might not recognise it. I'll give you an example. One of the comments I got back was just keep coming back. Oh, God, that annoys me. What the hell does that mean? Well, I get it. I do get it. Keep coming back and doing what works. If it's been working for so long, why would you stop? Keep coming back. That's how I take it. And it's true, because it's only by going to these things that I've managed to learn how to navigate situations. I've learned how to build friendships. I've learned how to let go of resentments. And I've built a very nice life for myself and my dog. Now, I did none of that myself. That was all through group help. It was through working programs. And today I'm blessed with connection. So if you're out there and you're alone, if you've got a phone, jump online. Just type in meetings, whichever type of meeting you want. There's a meeting for everything. You'll be so surprised. And then engage. Start going. Or if you're out there, start engaging with the charities. And I know it's hard, and sometimes they seem like they don't really not interested. I promise you, there are some good places out there now. And it is imperative that we build a tribe, especially this time of year. But to do it, we needed to be doing the work before, and it's not too late. It's going to be harder. I'm here for all of you. I'm here for every single one of you. I don't want anyone to be alone. Not at all, for no reason. So, if you're listening, chuck a comment in the box. Even if it's just your number of days. And then let's try and get through this season together. Okay, we're going to take another short break. I'm going to play another bit of music. I'm just going to have a little bit of a moment to myself. And again, I can't thank you all enough for tuning in, because without you, I don't get to do this. And all I want to do is try to share what I've been through, my experience, and to let you all know I truly love each and every single one of you. And I know if you're going through that loneliness, I've been there. If you're out in the bitter cold, I've been there. That's not going to make it any easier, but keep tuning in, keep listening. Like I said, I'm going to be here for you guys all the way through December, and then in January we'll look to hopefully reshaping the format a little bit and moving forward. And I'm open to suggestions, my beautiful people, and I'll take suggestions from anybody. It's the best way to live, remaining teachable. So I'm now going to put on the next piece of music again. So if you don't want to listen to the festive season, just tune out now for a second. And for the rest of you, here we go. There we go. If only you could see me bopping away in my little studio, you'd think I was an absolute nutcase. So, welcome back again. Let's keep the flow going, keep moving forward. I hope that you're enjoying it and this is helping some of you in some way, shape or form. Even if it's just giving you a distraction and you're sitting there, maybe closing your eyes, falling asleep to it, whatever. It's, just know again, I'm so glad you're here. If nobody else has told you today, I love you. I love you to pieces, all of you. And I'm here. So message, ask questions, help me direct the show into what you need and what you would like to hear. And we will slowly over time come up with a format that best serves as many people as possible. There is a healing side of solitude, because for me the stillness became a teacher. I believe that the world for me always trained me to, or tells me to run from loneliness. No one wants to be alone. But what if it's the only time the soul can actually speak? And by speak, I mean talk to you, to me. Because when all of the noise dissipates, when all of the crowds disappear, and you're left in that feeling, and then that feeling starts to happen when the crowd's still there, and when the noise is still around, the soul started to speak to me. It started to, it was letting me know what I was missing. And when I say missing, it showed me the bitterness in me. It showed me what I wanted. And it's funny because in the beginning I wanted all the niceties back, but I didn't want to do any of the work to get it. And there is a lot of work to be done. And it's about trying to, if you are lonely, start meditating or just sit in silence. And listen, truly listen to what's going on, because I promise you, for me, that's the time I often find some of my biggest and most profound answers, when I just slow down, sit still, look around me, right, what am I missing? Why? What am I angry about? What caused it? What led up to it? Because I used to find that sometimes it was things that led up to it. Walking past a coffee shop with lots of friends outside laughing and joking. Just seeing families together, that's always a killer for me, seeing families and children, and it always reminds me that I've got children out there that I just can't wait to see. And I love you guys, so it's, and there are stages to this. That loneliness, when we first start feeling it, and it could be where some of you are at now, it's unbearable. The first time I went through this season completely on my own, and that was my own doing as well, because there's groups out there, like I said, it rips into your core. It's like all of the pain throughout the year was just magnified, and it just, all of those horrible thoughts that we all struggle with. I'll talk about me, that I struggle with massively. Those intrusive thoughts used to get a lot worse this time of year. Look at them, they're all having fun. Look at this, it's a beautiful time of year. You're not going to get nothing because no one likes you, no one loves you, no one wants you. And just try not to listen to that BS, because it's not true. I promise you, there's people out there thinking about you right now. And for those of you that just rolled your eyes and said, yeah, right, well, you're the ones I'm thinking about. The ones that have nobody, that feel like they're truly on their own. Please, please, please connect. Chuck me a message. I'll happily reach out to people. I'll happily do whatever I can. And at this point, I can engage with my audience on a more personal level at the moment. So I would love for people to keep coming back, keep listening, and just know you're not on your own. I'm here. And I'm going to say I will make sure I'm here all the way through December, and in the new year we'll look to go for a different way. You'll probably notice as well, I'm just going to take this quick opportunity, that I'm not really doing any recovery work. I'm just trying to get people through. I'm trying to give you guys some hope and get you through this season, and just see what we can do. The second stage does start to reveal peace. It's like, if you imagine if it snows and you stand in the snow, at first, that initial bitterness, that initial coldness makes you shiver, it makes you react. And I look at being isolated the same. You start to react, you start, it's sharp, it's bitter to start with. And then you start to notice how beautiful the silence can be, how the noise has been removed, how I wasn't trying to people please. I wasn't trying to fit in. I wanted to fit in, but the days of trying were gone. And I can't explain it, but there is some peace that comes with that. the quiet does become a beautiful place. It definitely has for me. And I know if you're new to this, you're still in that first stage. You're thinking, what the hell is this geezer on about? Has he even been here? Does he even know what I'm going through? Yes, I do. I have been there multiple times. But it does get better. It will, you're going to hate, some of you hate me saying this. This too shall pass. That's a saying you'll get. Sometimes, you see, when you get into this time of year, or even any time of year, and we're getting into ourselves, some of the recovery slogans and sayings can really get under your skin. And other times, they absolutely are the words of wisdom that you need to hear. And I found that's, when you look at it, if people are saying the same and I'm reacting at different times, that's on me. Then there was, I started to have to find things to do. I didn't want to be on my own and not have anything to do, because for me, boredom is one of the biggest problems. Idle time is when I make very poor choices. Excuse me. So I started to get creative, just little things. You can get a colouring book, or you can get a word search book, or if you're out there on the streets, one of the things I like doing was trying to narrate in my head what people were doing, what they were up to, and it's just about finding time, ways to pass the time. Faith is huge for me. Without some kind of faith, I don't think I'd have made it back. Now, I'm not talking religion. That's entirely a personal choice. I'm talking about faith in that it will get better, faith in that it is possible. And even if that's flitting and it's in between moments of despair and pure rage, and just hold on to it when you feel it, and try to notice it. Think of yourselves as a warrior, because you are. And some of you are like, what are you on about? Have a look behind you, what you've come through already, how far you've gone, what you've made it through. And sometimes even a warrior needs to sit in silence. And a warrior doesn't fear the quiet. That's where they train. Look at the monks, that's where they train, in the silence. So I'm gonna set you a little exercise for the evening, and it's up to you, obviously, if you do or don't. Turn everything off tonight, everything, and then just sit there for 5 minutes in silence. No phone, no noise, and just listen to what your mind says, and when your heart whispers beneath it, and what your heart whispers, because that's where I would find answers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually play a little bit of music, but this time it's going to be a little meditation music, in order for you just to sit there with those thoughts for a moment. As always, I'm now lost the track, but it's all right. We'll just keep going until I find it again. So yeah, what I'd like you to do is just sit there in silence, just for a couple of minutes. We won't do the full 5 minutes. It's just to give you an idea of what I'm on about. Again, I'm going to some royalty-free music. This is going to be a piece by Kevin MacLeod, Peace of Mind. So sit right there, go into silence, and just feel it, and maybe breathe in through your nose, hold it, exhale through your mouth. So here we go, let's play a little bit of music for a moment and sit back and relax. Right, I'm going to leave that playing quietly in the background. And we're going to move across into the next section. And this time I'm going to talk about the light in the coldest corners. I want you all to know, if you're here, you're listening, you already belong to something. You're part of this tribe, this growing community of people that are struggling, and you know, we get together here and we learn how to grow going forward. Every December, you know, you have to look for the joys that are there. Every December, the sun still rises. You just have to wait a little bit longer to see it, but it always comes up. You know, loneliness isn't permanent. It's a visitor, not a sentence. And instead of trying to rush through these things, I found it was always best to sit there and listen. You're part of something now, even if you can't see it. The fact you're listening means that you belong to our tribe. It means that I see you, I hear you, and I want to engage with you. I see the special person that you are, past all of the BS, past all of the crap that we do. I see you, I hear you. And remember, we live by a warrior's code, staying true to ourselves even when we're unseen. The gratitude I now have for every message I get from you guys, the gratitude I get from seeing when I've reached more people, when more people are getting the message, and some of you keep returning as well, and that tells me you feel part of, and you are. I'm absolutely blessed to be able to be on this journey with so many of you. It reminds me that none of us have to be alone. None of us have to be alone anymore. This is a world in which we have the equipment to be more connected than ever. Unfortunately, there's been a time of isolation and separation and disconnection. But I'm here to try and bridge that gap. I'm here to try and stop people from being lonely. I don't want anybody to feel that anymore, and you don't have to. Well, I'm here. We're here. And I'm going to end with this. The fire doesn't die in winter. It may burn slower, steadier, waiting for spring, for the time of rebirth. And so if you think about that, we have this time to reflect, to learn, and to get ready for our rebirth in the new year. And hopefully, as we go through this journey together, I'll learn a lot more about myself. Hopefully some of you will learn about yourselves, and we will continue to evolve and move forward as the time goes on. And wherever you are, I really hope that the silence brings peace tonight. I hope that you remember some of the things I've said today, and I hope you really take on board the fact that you are not alone, and I do see you, and I really love every single one of you. And I will be here every day. I will put another show up later on. I'll do a couple of reflections as well. I'll put a couple of shorter ones up as well, because not everybody wants to listen to a full episode, or they don't have the time or the battery life. And I understand those things. So please, please, please stay safe out there. Stay vigilant. Look out for one another. If you do have people that you know are struggling and that are lonely, pick up the phone. Don't leave them alone. Because what I have learned, you never know how a little message, a little heart emoji, thank you, Bill, can go an awful long way. And there are people that I'm noticing coming back continually coming back, and I love it. So please, 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 like I say, engage in the comments. Tell me what you need to hear. Do you know if there's anything you would like me to discuss? And for sure, like I say, I'm here for you. So I just want to say I love each and every single one of you. And today I want to do something. I would like to close out with a prayer of my choice. And I only say that now so that because some of you won't want to listen to that, and that's fine. And for the ones who do, this is for you, and the ones who don't, this is also for you. Our Father, the Almighty, the giver, the searcher, the seeker, the finder, the traveller, the all and nothing. Hear my words, forget me not. In my deeds in life, let me honour you, and in the afterlife, may I join you. Until that moment, may you guide me and help me continue to help people out there. May you reach out and put a warm arm around those people that are struggling. May you give me the guidance to be able to go and help. Please, please keep my tribe safe and help them connect. Skull. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, warriors, daywalkers, creatures of the night, wanderers, and everyone else in between. I am absolutely blessed to be able to do this. I am blessed that you have found me. Let's keep, and please, I need to put a call of action in. We're growing and we're growing fast, yes. we could grow faster and further, and we could reach more people. Please like, share, engage. I never used to say that stuff because I thought everybody does, but there's a reason for it. We have a habit of listening. We have a habit of wanting somebody to be there and it to continue. But the engagement really helps the channel grow. And the more we grow, the more people we're going to be able to help. And none of this is me. This is all you. I'm just the guy in the seat, the bozo on the bus trying to, I won't even say steer it, because I don't. It's more about keeping the passengers safe as my higher power takes me through life and yours takes you through your life. And we get to do that together. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. And if you're having a hard time, you're not on your own. You're not the only one. And please reach out. So I'm going to love you and leave you from there. This was the Road to Runes on the Infinite Frequency. I am, as always, your host, L.E.O. Lothbrock. And thank you so much for tuning in. The time now is approximately 6:23 in the morning. And I hope that this message finds you bright and early and gives you a little lift for the day. So yeah, have a beautiful day. And I'm just going to turn the music up for a little bit and then I will phase it out. Have a beautiful day, guys.